My name, first of all, is Ayodele Ademiluyi. I'm the Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association Lekki Forum. The Lekki Forum is a body of legal practitioners resident in Ikoyi, Victoria Land, Lekki, Ajah, Ibeju, Lekki, axis of Lagos State, based on the existence of an high court building in our jurisdiction. We are pushing for a branch of the Nigerian Bar Association. As a body of legal practitioners, we deem it fit to use today to make a State of the Nation press conference, to voice our gross disenchantment with the gross violation of valid and subsisting court orders by nobody else but the Department of State Services under the control of President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. So the press conference basically condemned the persistent and perpetual disobedience of orders of our courts by the Department of State Services. And we also boldly categorize the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration as a dictatorship. And our grounds is that the abandonment of judicial orders is nothing else but anarchy on the part of that administration. Our courts have heard in countless and plethora of cases that orders of courts are meant to be obeyed. Orders of courts are in themselves a reflection of the majesty of our courts. Whosoever disobeys orders of our courts derobes the court of his majesty, of his powers, of his essence. In any event, we are all seized of the fact that Justice Taiwo of the Federal High Court Abuja Division did grant an order releasing Omoyele Sowore on bail based on the application of his counsel, Femi SAN, who did apply for his bail on self-recognizance and on the basis of the fact that the application for remand of Omoyele Sowore by the Department of State Services was withdrawn. So there was nothing before the court at that time to have held Omoyele Sowore to in custody of the Department of State Services. But to our chagrin and dismay, we are all aware of the fact that the Department of State Services did commit contempt of that order of the court by deliberately holding on to Omoyele Sowore and refusing and neglecting to release him despite all his bail conditions being met. We are also seized of the fact that today the contemnor of the majesty of our courts, that is the Department of State Services, did arraign Omoyele Sowore and Olawale Bakare in court today. As your question has highlighted, the question really is, despite being contempt of the order of Honorable Justice Taiwo today, why is it that of coordinated jurisdiction with Honorable Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, why is it that the arraignment did take place and Omoyele Sowore was remanded in DSS custody for the taking of his bail application on Friday? In the wisdom of his lordship, Honorable Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, the court was of the view, the court heard ordinarily, that on the basis of the subsisting charges before the court, his plea can be taken. While we are without prejudice and without irreverence to the wisdom of that noble court, we are of the humble view, in our opinion, that the Department of State Services still stands as a contemnor of the order made by Justice Taiwo. And we are not new to this development. We are not strangers to the real character of the Department of State Services. The Department of State Services have shown itself to be an institution that denigrates the majesty of our court. We can go into litany of cases starting from the Dasuki's case to the Ezakizaki's case, and now the Omoyele Shogore's case, that evidences the fact that we are in serious fear that upon the granting of the bail application on Friday, that the Department of State Services will obey that order. So while we are not preempting the court as to what the court will do on Friday, we are of the view that as custodians of our collective jurisprudence, the Nigerian Bar Association owes a very noble duty, not only to the bar itself, but also to the bench, to provide in this period a citizens' engagement of a government that has become a dictatorship and a violator of our laws in itself. Because the fact is that in several ratio of judgment of court, the courts in Nigeria have held that where courts orders are deliberately disobeyed, where government or institutions of government deliberately refuse and neglect to disobey, to pick and choose what orders of courts they can obey or disobey, we stand the risk of anarchy. And we are at the brink of anarchy as we speak. In fact, we are in the climax of barbarism. And it is essential that the Nigerian Bar Association, as the purveyors of the promotion of rule of law, stand on its toes at this period to put this government where it belongs. It belongs to no other part of our jurisprudential geography than the part of those who have made law to be nothing else but inexistence in our country. At our own nuclear level, at the level of the Lekki Forum of the Nigerian Bar Association, despite several limitations of the fact that we are not yet a full-blown organ of the Nigerian Bar Association, we have deemed it fit on the basis of our allegiance to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which we deem to have sworn on oath to in our call to the bar as barrister and solicitor of Supreme Court of Nigeria, to unify with our sister civil society groups to kickstart what we call March for Democracy. Today, in collaboration with the African Action Congress, in collaboration with the Alliance of Nigerian Students Against Neoliberal Attacks, and also other civil society groups, including but not limited to Take It Back movement, the Democratic Socialist movement, and other countless civil society groups that we cannot recall. We have started what we call March for Democracy. And today we held the season 1 of that March for Democracy. And it's to make our voices known. And we are that, number one, we are grossly opposed to this attempt or serious mission on the part of President Muhammadu Buhari to drive the country to anarchy. Number two, we are calling on national leadership of Nigerian Bar Association to, as a matter of urgency, convene the already pre-scheduled National Executive Committee in 7 days running, as resources may allow, wherein we will have an open invitation to other stakeholders in the judicial sector, including but not limited to the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, the representatives of the bar on the National Judicial Council, the representatives of the bar on the body of benchers, where we will deliberate and come to a resolution of organizing series of civic actions, which we include but not limited to court boycott. We did organize a boycott, a 2-day boycott at the instance of the event of the unconstitutional removal of Justice Honorable Justice Walter Onoye. And we must be prepared to resume that court boycott. We also need the solidarity workers in a period of crisis like this. The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria will call on them to also speedily convey an emergency neck. We recollected that at the period when we were fighting the unconstitutional removal of Honorable Justice Walter Onoye, they did convey an emergency National Executive Committee meeting. And that emergency National Executive Committee meeting also did resolve to fight all attempts to undermine the independence of the judiciary. Now we are now standing face to face with hell and Armageddon itself. And we call on Jusun, on the national election of the NBA, to convene those NEC sittings, wherein we will boldly and jointly organize court boycott and judiciary strike until the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is called to order. Number 3 is that we also call on the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad, who at the new legal year service did tell the whole world that he would not under any circumstances tolerate disobedience of court orders. My Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad, we now stand at the apex of history, where we are now standing eyeball to eyeball to an administration that has trumped under his feet the orders of our court. We have no choice. We call on the Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad to give action to his words by intervening in this developing anathema that we have found ourselves and calling the executive to order. We also call, number 4, on the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives and the Senate, to, as a matter of urgency, pass resolutions that the disobedience of orders of our court and even the undermining of the independence of our judiciary through the underfunding of the judiciary should be stopped forthwith. In the event where we are confronted with the reality that all these institutions of the state and personalities in government refuses and neglects to do the biddings of the Nigerian people to protect our hard-won democracy, which we have enjoyed meritoriously and immensely in the past 2 decades, we as a unit of the Nigerian Bar Association will be prepared to storm the streets in relentless civic mass actions, in alliances with our earlier referred to civil society friends and allies, to continue to push until sanity is restored in our land.